Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Once again, we did a clap behind the scenes. I will say that may have been our best one.
For sure.
Lurch is not here, so that could be a factor in that. But that was, do you guys agree that was our best clap thus far?
For sure. I mean, it was just in sync.
I actually didn't hear Frankie clap, but I'm going to believe that was our best clap yet.
I think that's the goal, is if you don't hear anybody else clap, that's probably a sign that we did it really well.
True.
We are presented by Barstool Sports. We are brought to you by Owen's Mixers. I have Owen's Mixers right in front of me right now. They were just in Forbes, I believe, yesterday. They just raised millions of dollars for another round of funding because it's going so well because they make a delicious product. Now, this mint cucumber lime I got right here has long been my favorite, but this little grapefruit and lime has been making a huge, I would say, kind of charge in the last several months due to all the Paloma chatter on this show. The point being they have a lot of good choices, but a Paloma is a great cocktail that I'm pretty into right now.
Anytime you're associated with Forbes, you're doing something right. If you're on any sort of Forbes list, things are going well, and it's no surprise that Owens is on that list. We love it. We got the Barstool Transfusion. When this comes out, it'll be Transfusion Thursday. Riggs is holding up the beautiful can right now. So go get that. Go get all their different kinds. I mean, they have so many different great flavors that it's seemingly endless.
They're in Publix. They're in like 7,500 CVS's, I think. Mario Lemieux, investor. Lee Bryce, investor now. So, I mean, we're getting some big names on the Owens Mixers train. And in the Forbes article, it was awesome to just read like how Barstool has been a huge, and especially the Foreplay Golf podcast has been a huge catalyst for bringing them into this new, like they had to adapt because they were so in concert venues and the best bars and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden all that stuff's shut down. So where do you like move to? It's like, all right, golf courses and getting them into every single golf club and us pumping it on every single podcast. So Owens Mixers is killing it, absolutely killing it. My dad loves making them at Borelli's. He was like, he did that promo video the other day with just like 3 Owens Mixers going into it, triple handing them. So it's a really good product, and it honestly saves you in situations. I went to Borelli's Italian restaurant the other day, and I ordered a Paloma like an idiot because I'm like, I'm just gonna start drinking these things, and whatever. It's not really an Italian restaurant drink. So the bartender's like, all right, just tell me how to make it. Because like she knew kind of but didn't really know, and we just didn't have like the correct ingredients. We had like grapefruit juice but not like the grapefruit soda, so like everything was like a little more bitter, and I drank it, I'm like, blah, like this stinks. But if we had the Owens Mixers, like grapefruit soda and soda mixer, like that's just a Paloma right there. You just mix in a little tequila and it's over. It's sweet, it's tasty. Look, you're showing it me right now, grapefruit and lime. Like that's just nice. That's just done for you. You don't have to worry about it. So whether you're at a restaurant or you're at home, you can be a perfect mixologist with this shit. I'm telling you, it is a game changer.
Yeah, it is wild. They're on Amazon too, so you can order it right to your door. But it is wild because I remember it was around Super Bowl time, what would have been last year, so 2020, before the world shut down, before Corona, and we were chatting with the Owens guys, and a huge part of their push was going to be, hey, let's come up with this transfusion, let's do the taste testing, let's make sure we get the branding in the can right, and we're going to have it in stadiums, we're going to have it at concert venues, we have these great contracts. And then pretty much like the day after we signed a contract and started working together, just none of those things have occurred since. Like not one concert, not one live thing, So they did do an insane job in the fact that they're on Forbes of adapting, of saying, okay, well, let's get it, into as many now retail stores as we can. Let's get it available on Amazon. Let's have our website cranking so people can order it directly to their door, owensmixers.com. So they've done an awesome job. Congrats to those guys, Josh and the crew over there who we know pretty well. Congrats to them, and congrats to all of our listeners because you can just get this stuff delivered and have awesome cocktails. So big thanks to Owens and good work by them. The Miz, we have the Miz on this show.
Wow.
There's an inside running joke here on Foreplay about the Miz, and it's not malicious, but it's that we were originally supposed to have him on maybe 10 months ago. It got canceled. Then we were supposed to have him on maybe 6 months ago. It got canceled. And so there was a long-running joke of like, you know what, we're just never going to have The Miz on. Like, he's WWE personality. He's on Miz and Mrs. Like, he's on, he got his start with, obviously, the Real World back in the day and became huge through that. And so he's got a great story of like taking his 15 minutes of fame and turning into, you know, a legitimate celebrity. But he's got the WWE personality. So we weren't sure when it came on. Like, we're kind of doing our own little inside joke about like the Miz is never going to end up on this show, and it's funny. And at one point during the show, Frankie actually just yelled "Fuck you, the Miz" to him because of his WWE personality. So it was a very funny interview.
Yeah, it's just that name, like The Miz, just kept popping up on Google calendars, and then we'd all get ready for the interview, and somehow, like, either we had to cancel or he had to postpone it, and it's just like, fucking Miz, man. Like, this guy just somehow slithered through our hands for a couple months. It's just like, what is The Miz doing? What are we doing? Why are we talking about The Miz for a year? Like, I know The Miz doesn't want to talk about The Miz for a year to get on one 25-minute podcast, and but it ended up being so good. I'm so glad we ended up doing it because you can kind of tell the frustration was coming out, I think, on both sides a little bit. Like, he came after me, I think, just like subconsciously. I think he hated me, probably because he knew that I was getting frustrated with our calendar changes. And then I was getting at him because, like, his little character is infuriating sometimes. Like, I mean, he's a WWE superstar. That's hard to handle. Like, that guy just fucking dominates you mentally, physically, everything about conversationally. He's impressive.
Yeah, he just at one point he just looked at Frankie and was like, "Yeah, I could tell you're the kind of guy that pulls like a 5-iron on a tee, aren't you, Frankie?" And Frankie was just like ready to unload. You're like, "Fuck you, the man."
He is such a cool dude, though. I'm really looking forward to having him back on the show. He just like gets entertainment. He gets comedy, kind of like the comedic value of like when to be an asshole, kind of like he's so upfront in your face, and that's WWE. That's Vince McMahon shit.
Right,
100%.
like I think maybe you and him have a future on the WWE as rivals. I would love to see you on a WWE broadcast getting body slammed by the Miz. That'd be fantastic.
It almost felt like it was like he's in the ring and I like stepped out on the platform and he's like looking at me with the microphone, being like, "You have a fucking water cooler in your room," whatever he was saying to me.
Yeah, he did.
He was getting real mean at one point.
I picture Frankie running down the ramp like, "I'm coming to take on the Miz." That'd be awesome. Is he currently still doing WWE stuff, or has he moved on completely from that?
Well, during the interview, he had mentioned that like he's like it was Raw or something like that, and then he's like, "You can watch Raw, you can watch me, and then you can watch the documentary." I think he's involved in everything.
He's still involved. I could have just asked my roommate Robbie Fox. He knows all about that. But The Miz was great, much better than I think we were anticipating, and that was just on us because we were like, the fucking Miz. We've been teasing this interview to ourselves for like a year.
Fucking Miz. Every time Kelly, our like talent, our like lead of talent at Barstool, was like, "We got the Miz." I'm like, "The Miz." Like, is this actually gonna happen this time? Just that name has been a part of our lives for a year now.
He was good, and he's very into golf now, and him and his wife joined a country club, so he goes through a lot of kind of just the trials and tribulations of what that entails and struggling in golf, especially for a guy who's, you know, entertainment. He's a WWE, he's a heel type character. He's good at everything he does. He's grown and grown and grown, and then he's out there in the golf course being completely humbled because the game's impossible. So he talks about all that stuff. It's a very good interview. So The Miz is coming up. Sand Hollow, our Sand Hollow travel series, Vegas travel series, episode number 2 is now live. Went live last night. Maybe the most stunning visuals from a golf course that we've posted yet on our travel series. The red rocks and the bunkering and the sand out at Sand Hollow. We had our buddy Lynx Gyms, who, if you don't know who Lynx Gyms is at this point, we've had him on the show once or twice. We talk about him a good amount. He's a course photographer, basically as like a hobby, but he has a big following on Instagram and Twitter. We got to know him through that, and he loves Sand Hollow. It was his recommendation, so he agreed to do a lot of the narration of the holes and sort of the commentary on what he saw from our play. And he's the one that told us to go out there. That was when we fucked up the time zones. We went to Utah from Vegas, and we didn't realize that we jumped forward an hour, so we missed our tee time by an hour. But the video came out phenomenally. Shout out to eBug. And to Frankie, who do a lot of the work on the travel show.
It's amazing. You throw a filter. I have these filters here. It's these Polar Pro ND filters. You throw one of these things on a drone, and it just makes shit pop like you wouldn't believe. I mean, those drone shots were phenomenal. I mean, it was a little bit of an overcast. It was windy, so like maybe we wouldn't have gotten the same footage that we would have gotten on a normal day. Like maybe 3 years ago or 2 years ago, when we were just like throwing drones up and trying to figure this out. We've come such a long way of making this shit look beautiful. It's amazing. Brendan has taken such, he's made leaps and bounds with his progress on droning. I mean, I don't think Brendan Jones figured that he was going to be a drone pilot for like a massive YouTube audience. So it's been really cool to see that progress. The video is really, really good. It's really well done. The storyline's really good. We're just kind of rolling with these videos, man. It's like, I was talking to someone the other day on the golf course. Like they're saying, oh, like you guys get a shit ton of video, like views on like YouTube. I mean, on Instagram and Facebook. It's like, YouTube views are just so more legit. It's actually crazy. And like we've gone through all these analytics and all these people telling us like how it kind of like goes down behind the scenes. Like a YouTube view is like you have to watch the video for like a minute or like 30 seconds at least. You have to sit down and watch content. Like a lot of the other things like Twitter and Instagram, like you just scroll over it and it's a view, it's a view, it's a view. And like that's why you'll get these like crazy numbers. When we hit like 100,000, 150,000 on a video, that's fucking a lot of people sitting down and watching consuming our content. So thank you to all the viewers who actually have like been showing up for all these videos. Like we're on such a streak right now of just hitting major numbers for our YouTube platform. It's nuts. Like we're just not missing.
I know that we're rolling because when I was at the office yesterday at Barstool HQ, I had at least 2 people come up to me and just say, I just watch your guys' videos now. I watch it as if I don't even know you guys. I throw it on late at night and I just let it play. Like it goes from one video to the next. And they're like, your guys' video are fantastic. They're funny. The production value is fantastic. So obviously, we're getting a ton of views just from our fans, and we really appreciate that. But I know it's making an impact when people at our own office are like, I just watch your guys' videos like you guys are strangers to us. So we really are on a roll.
We do the bit, right, where we ask people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We call them out by name, and Frankie kind of attacks all of the stereotypes about their name and makes them feel like horrific people. But the reason we do that is because YouTube is something that we have focused an amazing amount of time on over the last year and a half. And these videos that, we've lined up and that we've kind of got in production and that we roll out kind of on a scheduled program, we have an enormous kind of undertaking and process going on that is getting those done. Like when we are out there filming those Vegas videos, we've got 3 or 4 camera guys. We've got an audio technician. We've got Brendan on the drone. We've got all 4 of us mic'd up. We've got Jake, Bug, like running around all over the place. We do that all day long. We try to get as many interviews as we can to add different perspectives. And we drive 2.5 hours back. We go to sleep. We get up. We do it all over again with kind of a different crew or maybe part of the same crew and get all of that footage. And then someone, Brendan, Frankie, whoever, generally that's the crew, has to go through all of that footage, hours of footage, sync it all up, and then decide to comb through which drone shots do you use, when do you splice in more drone footage versus more golf shots, what music goes underneath it. Like, that's just one fucking video. And then we put those out every week, and we've got that mixed in with the tailor-made footage of Dustin Johnson when we're playing with him and of, the scrambles that we're trying to get done. So it's an enormous undertaking, and I don't think that it's clearly not an accident that the quality and the production value has come out very from any objective kind of observation. It's just very clear how good it is now. And that shit matters, man. Like when you choose on your TV to throw on, one of our YouTube videos instead of cruising through Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, it makes a difference when on your fucking, your TV that you splurged for, when you got a sick ultra high def TV in your bedroom or in your living room and you choose to put our foreplay video on there, we care that it pops, that the filters that Frank is using on his drone, that, like, I was stunned that the footage looked that good from Sand Hollow, because when we arrived, we were bummed because it was fucking cloudy and shitty out. And you're like, man, this place would pop if it was sunny. And then I saw the footage in the teaser, and I was like, oh, my God, it popped, even though the weather was the worst it could possibly be. So we put, a lot of people ask me at the Classic all the time, like, hey, I know that the job isn't like what it looks like all the time. People say, I wish I just had these guys' job. They just get to golf all the time. Like, what is the other stuff that goes into it? And that is a huge part of it, is all that behind the scenes work. And the stress of filming, right? Like syncing up after every hole, making sure that people are on the right page. If we did fuck up a shot, like being able to have the balls to tell all 8 people in production, like, hey, stop. We need like 10 minutes. We're going to hold up the whole golf course. People are going to be mad at us, but it's worth it to get the shot. So all that fucking goes into it. And I think in this video, it was very clear that, like, it's worth it.
Yeah, and you know, Jake and Brendan have edited so many hours of fucking golf videos. It's actually insane. Like on the plane the other day on the way home from San Diego, like Brendan had like a legitimate panic attack that he wasn't going to be able to spend the 6 hours coming home editing because there wasn't an outlet, and he actually moved his seat to like a more expensive seat so that he could have an outlet in the front of the plane. Like it's actually like 5 hours of his day couldn't go on, or else that video wouldn't have came out. Like those videos take so long to edit for that kid. It's actually outrageous. Like you have 5 cameras, 4 tracks of audio, a 6-hour round to go through, and you can't miss one shot from one person or a drone shot. It's unfathomable how long that takes. So shout out to them. And yeah, and what you're saying, sometimes I feel like an asshole out there when I'm like legitimately yelling at people, being like, we need to like figure out how to get the right shot. Like this, we're only on this golf course for 4 more hours. If we're missing the shots, let's figure it out now, not when we're at our computer trying to deal with why we didn't get the shot. Like I'm always trying to get that through their head, and like it's like, all right, yeah, let's figure it out, because we have these freelancers that maybe don't even know what golf is, and Brendan's trying to figure it out, and Jake's trying to. So it's like it is such a grind to get that done, and also try and be somewhat entertaining out there. That it's amazing that it ends up working out. I am stunned when we walk off 18 that we actually have a video done. I'm stunned.
And that's one of the other things, like we're trying to be funny, right? Like we're trying to make sure that we add some value, which like it's not like that's a huge grind, but when you go from like screaming at people or like one person's mad at the other and we're trying to make sure we have the shot, then it's like, oh, 4-player, happy-go-lucky, friendly guys out of the golf course. It's like, no, we actually
crazy?
Cut each other's throats off.
I think we've gotten to the point now where like our chemistry, like we know each other, we're all buddies to this point where like I'm legitimately, when I'm out there, I'm just thinking about, is it getting filmed and is it going to be good? And then like all the banter in the middle or whatever the actual video is just us naturally. Like I have never once in these last travel series, like maybe in the beginning I was trying to be like a little buffet of bits, but now it's like legitimately, I'm not even thinking that people are watching it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like when it's just Brendan and Jake out there behind me, I'm just trying to make sure that it's actually captured in the way that like I envision it. I'm not even thinking about what the content is. So the fact that it's entertaining to me is insane. But that's just our banter naturally now. Like that's just the way I talk to Lurch is just the way I talk to Lurch.
Right, and I think it comes off as more genuine. Like if you, like at the beginning, if maybe you are trying to do a buffet of bits, and everybody kind of does that at the beginning, like trying to find your voice, trying to figure out what you think people are going to like. But then you find out that we're going to these beautiful golf courses, the place is stunning, the footage is stunning, and then just the interactions that we naturally have, like those are funnier than us trying to be like, hey, let's set up this little thing, and people will think that's really funny. Like people will see that that's forced. And it's better, like you and Lurch just shitting on each other. Like that's way better than you guys like trying to figure out like what's a funny thing we can say to each other. 100%.
Yeah, and a lot of it turns in like it's situational humor on the golf course, right? That it's just it's not like nobody's coming up with some groundbreaking fucking joke out there. It's more just the reaction and the banter to it. I would say maybe more so it's hard to focus on playing, like hitting good golf shots when everything's going on, which is like, not that it matters, it doesn't, but we all, to some degree, when you're playing, like you want to play well. It feels good to play well and hit good shots, and golf is so much about focusing and like bearing down and getting into like a rhythm that can get hard, but also like our footage does better the shittier that we play typically.
Yeah,
so
of course.
At the end of the day, who really cares?
Right. No one cares about me striping a hybrid down the middle. They just want to see me fucking put one through the halfway house. That's just like what they care about, and that's fine. I'll always give that to them because that's just how I play my game. We do have Wolf Creek coming out too, which is nuts. That place is just like a cartoon setting. And then we have Cascada coming out, which is probably my favorite course in the entire Las Vegas area. I mean, just Bethpage Black almost. Like it's like a northeast grass in the middle of the desert with all these rocks and canyons. So that place is awesome because the superintendent actually worked at Bethpage for like 10 years, I think it was. So that guy just has
Scott
that place.
Del Pierre.
Yeah, Scott's just got that place absolutely dialed in over there, and it's just Really, really fucking cool golf course. So those two are coming out. E-Bug's on his way out to Chambers Bay right now, so who knows if he's going to get that video done. I mean, I just don't know when these guys edit these videos. It's truly insane.
And people do like bad golf, and that's what we found out. But I want to let the listeners know that my bad golf days are coming to an end because we're going down. Yeah. So, no longer am I going to be hitting bad shots. Me and Jake tomorrow, Thursday, are heading down. We're flying down to Atlanta, and then we're going to meet up with John Tillery, my new swing coach, and I'm going to figure this shit out. We're going to film the entire thing. That's going to be another YouTube series that we're doing. It's going to be different than like the travel series. It's not going to be crazy production. It's basically going to be stool scenes of me trying to get better at golf. So laugh all you want.
You're in the trenches. You're going to be down in the trenches.
Yeah, we're not going to be...
The trenches.
The trenches.
Hey.
We're just going to film the whole thing, and hopefully I come out a better golfer on the other side. But like I said, laugh all you want at my shots. All the ones that are in the bank, you can laugh at those, but I'm just going to be a great golfer here pretty soon.
John Tillery, coach of Kevin Kisner and Ricky Fowler.
Yep.
Just a well-known in the space. He's a thought leader in the golf space. And he will have you dialed in. It's just a fact, right? Like, that guy knows how to tell people how to hit golf balls. You're an athlete. You played college football. You have made interceptions. I'm sorry. You played high school football.
Yeah.
You made interceptions with one hand, and it's on a highlight reel on YouTube.
True.
And that's just something that you can do. Like, you can play sports, and he's going to understand that, and he's going to figure out how to make you get that ball in that hole below 100 strokes.
That's what we're hoping for.
JT was in Scottsdale a few weeks ago, so I saw him, and he's very confident. I'll tell you that, Trent. He's very confident in your future. To be honest with you, I don't think it has anything to do with you. I think he's just very confident in his own ability, and he thinks applying his abilities and knowledge to you is it's inevitable that you're going to break your goals.
Yeah, I'm very confident as well. I think I've been playing better. Torrey Pines, 7,800 yards aside. That I just blanked that from my memory. But like Frankie's saying, like, I'm a person. I'm a person with limbs who knows how to move them. I'm somewhat athletic, or I was once upon a time. So I think if we combine all those things, so the original goal is obviously breaking 100. And we're going to try our best to do that. And then if we, accomplish that, we're just going to keep moving forward and keep moving forward. But the original goal is to break 100, and I am very confident that we can do that. I don't know what the time span is, when that's going to happen, but I'm confident that he is going to be able to get me there in a relatively short amount of time, hopefully.
I mean, you shot 103 at Sand Hollow, right?
I'd have to go back and look.
It was 103 or 104. It's just, that's one bad hole. That's the eliminating that one time you couldn't get out of that bunker with 4 swings, right? Like, that is just so. I mean, if JT can't get you there, I don't know who can. Like, you're right there, man. Yeah, you took a huge, massive, monstrous step back in your progress in the golf at Torrey Pines and at Olympic. I mean, you couldn't have taken a further step back in your progress in this game of golf, to the point where, like, I actually didn't think they were going to allow you to finish that round at Torrey Pines, like, physically take you off the golf course. So he may have some work with the most recent Trent, but the Trent that I saw at like Rockville Links and at Quaker Ridge, that Trent could break 100 tomorrow with just 1 or 2 more tips.
Well, the only thing that I'll say about all that is, when I do attempt to break 100, I'm doing ball and hole. I think I have to do it that way, and that is what we did at Torrey Pines, and that is where I was really, really terrible. Like, when we play Rockville and we play Quaker, you guys are pretty generous about, like, if I'm putting it all over the place, you guys are like, that one's good. I'm going to have to finish all these out, and that is going to make my score go up a little bit. So I don't know if I'm as close to breaking 100 as it would appear in some of the videos, but I'm somewhere right in the middle. So I think if we clean up a few of those mistakes, I'm going to be right there, but I don't know how long it's going to take. That's what we're going to find out with this video series.
It's going to be great.
New Amsterdam Vodka is also great. This is the official, folks, vodka of Barstool Sports. It's a premium 80-proof vodka made from some of the finest quality grains from America's heartland. Nice. 5 times distilled for unparalleled smoothness, filtered 3 times for a clean, crisp finish. We speak a lot about the old Transfusion on this show. For the last 4 years, we've been speaking about the Transfusion. Put a little New Amsterdam vodka in there, you throw a little Transfusion mix in there, and you have one of the best drinks known to mankind. So a big thanks to New Amsterdam Vodka for being the official vodka of Barstool Sports. But man, it's good. I wonder what this number 525 means. What do you think that means on there? You see that?
Number 525.
Makes it feel special, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they number their fucking bottles. That
It's
would be
making me want to
incredible.
go check my bottle and see what if it.
Go
has
check
what
your
number.
bottle. Go check your bottle.
Yeah, can you check your bottle, Trent?
While you're
we
checking
talk
for your
about
bottle, I want to talk about New Amsterdam Vodka because I'm in a little commercial with New Amsterdam Vodka. I am on
Yeah, you
national
are.
television. Every single hockey game you watch on NBC or NBCSN, you'll see it 3 or 4 times a game. My dad and I just pop up, and we're just in this commercial. I mean, it's a fantastic company. They are the official vodka of Barstool Sports and the official vodka of the NHL. So I like hockey, I like golf, I like Barstool, and I like this vodka.
Trent's back, but before Trent says anything, how do you guys feel about being, you appear at the part where they talk about being losers?
So the first day the first week that commercial came out, the Islanders went on like a 4-game losing streak. They hadn't won since I appeared in that commercial. Since then, they've now clinched the playoffs. Yes, we're on a little bit of a dry spell right now with this fucking Doogie Howser guy in Buffalo, this 28-year-old AHL, ECHL, whatever the fucking leagues he's been in. This guy, Howser, has played for the Buffalo Sabres and has absolutely stonewalled the Islanders. He's the best story in the NHL this year. I mean, he's just been a grinder in the minor leagues. If you look at his elite prospects, it's insane where this guy has gone to play hockey and just continued to grind, and now he's finally made it to the Sabres. He's the 8th string goalie, and he made 46 saves and won in a shootout last night against the Islanders. I just can't take that guy anymore. The Sabres taking 4 points from the Islanders this week has really dampened my mood. But Trent, what does that bottle say?
I got bad news for you. It says 525.
So maybe it has something to do with 5 times distilled or something.
Well, I will say it says 5 times distilled up there, which I think is pretty sweet. So we got to figure out what that means. The number 5.
Maybe they came from the same batch. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, or maybe it was like number 525 of them like experimenting to get it perfectly, and this is number 5. I don't really know, but what I do know is that New Amsterdam Vodka.
I think it's the name of that vodka.
Okay, so the number. Oh, I see. Of their, like, of all the different vodkas they make, this is their number 525.
Yeah, it's like in New Amsterdam Vodka dash number 525 vodka.
Okay,
I like that. Official vodka, Barstool Sports. Get yourself very smooth, distilled 5 times, really good. So check it out. We are getting ready to hit up the West Coast swing of the Barstool Classic, as Frankie just mentioned. E-Bug's on his way out there right now. We got Chambers Bay tomorrow. Frankie and I have been there. We played Chambers Bay with Devon Tays, who's now a member of the Colorado Avalanche.
Killing
and
it
his
out
boy,
there.
He's really good. And his boy, Matt, what is it, Ravel?
Is it Revel or is it Revel? It's one or the other.
Well, I was fucking everything up that week, so who knows?
I think it's Revel.
Matty Revel. One of the two.
I have no idea.
It's one of those two. It's one of those two. But you were calling Devon. That was nuts.
That's what I was saying. I couldn't pronounce anything that week, so who knows if it's Revel or Revel or Reveal. I don't know.
What a spot for the Barstool Classic. Excited for everyone that's going to be there. Those views are unbelievable. That golf course is sick. The fact that there's a Barstool Classic there is just insane. So, and then you guys are going where after that? Is it San Francisco?
So first, look at this. Ian Solomon just sent me this picture from Chambers. He's there setting up right now. I'm taking a flight in a few hours. Just looks perfect. So we're
That
going
looks like
Chambers.
a painting.
We went there.
Dude,
it was like rainy and fucking windy.
The whole
so-
fucking time.
Wow, it's gonna be nuts to play that in just good weather.
I know. So it's supposed to be like 65 and cloudy tomorrow, but that's fine as long as it's not raining in that part of the world. I think you're having a big win. So we are at Chambers Bay Thursday. We are then at Half Moon Bay outside of San Francisco on Monday.
How
then
is
we're
that
at Mono-
place? That place is outrageous, right?
So this place looks awesome too. I got another picture from a buddy of mine who just played it yesterday in a practice round, and he sent this picture from the 18th tee. I'm showing you guys. Looks like there's a castle on the cliffs.
Yeah, dude. Half Moon Bay is like it's like a Pebble Beach in Ireland or something. There's
Yeah,
like
that looks like across the pond, like.
Right.
That's-
Agreed. It looks Yeah, it looks like it's been there since like medieval times, except there's just a golf course on the cliff. So we're at Half Moon Bay on Monday, and then Thursday we're at Monarch Beach, which is kind of in Orange County, halfway between LA and San Diego. Then we have a week off, which is PGA Championship week, so we got to go down to Kiowa. And then I take a red eye back from Kiowa, and we have back-to-back Monday, Tuesday after PGA Championship week at True North, which is out here in Arizona.
Your
and
home
then the
course.
Friday of that week, we have Arrowhead in Denver. So we got a big like West Coast swing coming up.
Denver's going to be nuts. That's a good one, too. I mean, all those places are nuts. I mean, there's not one bad golf course in that list. They're just elite golf course after elite golf course. Hell of a lineup for the Barstool Classic. It's just crazy where it's gotten to.
I'm fired up, man. It's been a few weeks. We had, since our last one. So Atlanta, I'm excited now to get back on it, to get going. Bunch of travel coming up. I'm also excited because I just sort of canceled a little bit of travel, and that's maybe one of the better feelings in the world because I can tell Trent's all excited about it. But I was planning on doing basically 3 weeks on the road. I was going to leave today, go to Seattle, and then instead of coming back to Phoenix, I was going to spend an extra day or two in Seattle, then go to San Francisco, then go to Southern California, then make my way back to the East Coast for the PJ. I just canceled my plans, and I'm just coming back from Seattle on like Friday, and I'm just spending the weekend in Arizona and then going out. So I feel like I got to pack like one shirt now instead of packing for 3 weeks. Feels fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's the right decision. Just veg out, chill out. You have way too much flying going on in this next month. You gotta chill for a second.
Just fucking chill. All right, Max Homa this week is the defending champ in Charlotte because they didn't have a tournament last year. So it'll be fun to watch. I imagine he'll play well. He played very well last week. Ended up, I think, finishing 6th place. Posted a couple under par. So didn't have a great round on Sunday in the final round of the Valspar, but he was right there. He's one shot off the lead. I think he was tied with or right around there the betting favorite to win going into Sunday, and now he's going to be the defending champ. Max, obviously one of our guys, so it'll be a fun week to watch him at Quail Hollow, which is also a major championship course. It's where the President's Cup's going to be next year, and it's where JT won PGA Championship, 4 years ago now? Something like that. But anyways, Max, one of our dudes, will be fun to watch him this week.
Yeah, he's been playing really well. I mean, he had some insane hole outs from last week, so it feels like he's finally in a place where he's just going to start playing well every single week, which is what we kind of all expected from Max at a certain point. We know he's good at Twitter. We know he's good at social media. I'm sure they'll talk about that on the broadcast until the day he dies. But if it's nice, I'm sure, for him to start being well known for being a guy who wins tournaments and has a chance to win tournaments every single week. And I know you spend time with him out in Arizona, Riggs. He's one of our guys, so we're always rooting for Max Homa. It'd be great if he won it again this week. We'd be big supporters of that.
Big fan of Max Homa, and this will just lead him. If he can go back-to-back at Quail Hollow with his hole, and Trent's just drinking iced coffee, by the way, right into the mic. I want everyone to know that. If that's what you're hearing, that's just something that's happening.
Bro, he can cut that, can he?
I don't know.
Frankie, you do have an ultra-sensitive production guy sense about you all the time.
This is an audio podcast, just crazy to have the ice rattling up against the lips. That's just like, how are we supposed to pay attention? You know how loud that was in my ear? This is insane.
I'm sorry. I just figured that you could power through it and then Jake could kill my levels when that part happens. I don't
know how...
If you notice, people watching on YouTube, I try every time to go over here, but it doesn't really work. Frankie's
you have a button on your mic. You have a button on your mic that you can just press in, and it's just a mute. The one looking at you.
This one here?
Yeah. See how it's green? Just press it in.
That's muted?
No, hit it again. It's gonna turn
we just
red.
heard you.
Oh, okay. I see it turn red.
Okay, there you go.
I'm sorry. I'm new with this mic, and I kind of yelled at Frankie before we started because I got these headphones on, and I hate wearing these headphones. And Frankie's
Riggs, don't you think Trent's a headphone? He's a prima donna when it comes to the headphones. He's always a headphone problem.
What is with you and headphones? How
he
come
says
you
he
don't
can't
just
hear himself. I'm like, that's just headphones. Like
I just like when we've done podcasts in the past, when I didn't have this mic and I didn't have these headphones and the audio was terrible, and I'm sure the listeners hated those podcasts just because the audio sometimes are so bad. But now that the audio's gotten better, I put on these headphones and I can't hear myself, and I like to hear myself when I talk. Right now it feels like someone else is talking, but I know that I'm talking. And
You feel it in your chest?
Yes, I feel like I'm at the bottom of a cavern. And normally I have the Apple wired headphones, but Kevin Clancy borrowed them at the office yesterday, and I forgot to get them back from him. So now I'm wearing these studio-style headphones, and it just feels like I'm not doing a podcast. It feels like I'm listening to someone else do a podcast.
So you gave someone else your AirPods, huh? What did you think about that?
No, they're the wired ones.
Oh, okay.
But either way, headphones, they still go in your ear.
They go like inside the ear, yeah? Or you don't care about that?
Me and KFC are close enough that it doesn't matter to us.
You share earwax.
Right. We're buds. We're boys. So I don't care about that.
Okay.
But long story short, I still feel like I'm listening to someone else do a podcast right now as I'm saying this.
I understand. I mean, I guess I feel the same way. It's just like I have gotten used to it. Because, when we talk through these mics, it doesn't come through my headphones. So it's just I'm speaking out.
I know what you mean, Trent. Like, it does feel like you could be screaming and you don't know it. Like, if someone were in the other room, they could come out and be like, "Can you stop fucking yelling into the mic?" And you'd be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know I was doing that."
That may be why I talk so loud on this podcast. I wear these things. These things are noise canceling, so I just speak. I've gotten used to that sound. Like, I guess I'm dealing with what you're dealing with. It just doesn't bother me right now. But maybe that's why I'm so fucking loud on this thing.
Could be. I apologize for the iced coffee incident.
No, that's okay. I hope we keep it in, actually.
I accept your apology. I would say it would be very hypocritical of me to make fun of you, Trent, for that, because I got these really sweet noise-canceling headphones, and I wore them on the last show that we did, and I felt like I was yelling in my apartment because I couldn't hear myself either, so I went back to just the ones where I can hear myself now.
Right, like I might go to the lobby of my building and my doorman will be like, "We've been getting complaints all morning that a man is just yelling in his apartment," and I would have no idea because I feel like right now I'm talking at a reasonable level, but I could be screaming.
You just keep screaming the name John Tillery. Why? Like, what is happening in that room? So yeah, Max Homa. I think what I was gonna say was if this guy can string along some wins, mixed in with his social media presence, like that's a guy to watch with that $40 million player thing that we got going on, because Max Homa is the ultimate just on social media kind of guy, and if he can start becoming a guy who wins on the golf course on the regular, watch out for Max Homa, his brand, everything that he's got going for him. Rooting for Max. He is one of our guys. Also, Quail Hollow, we got a text message in our little Dad Bod Classic group chat that Todd Martin is on premises. He took a picture of what the Peter Millar area looks like at Quail Hollow. It's insane. I don't know how Peter Millar makes their area look better than others. I mean, I guess they just do everything a little bit better than everyone else, right? Like,
that's correct.
You go into these pro shops, you go into these mega tournament style merchandise tents, and you look at Nike and all these other places, and then you look at fucking Peter Millar, and it's just class. They got wood down, they have white cabinets, and the shirts fucking pop. It's actually pretty preposterous what they end up doing with their little sections. So go in and maybe you'll see him. Maybe you'll see that handsome fella that runs fucking Peter Millar. I mean, if he's in that, you got to tell him that Foreplay said what up while you're buying a Peter Millar shirt. I think he's at Quail Hollow.
One of my favorite people in the world, one of our favorite people in the world is Todd Martin. He did put on the group text, if anyone is at Quail this week, stop by and say hello. We're all just waltzing around Charlotte all the time.
Right.
But but if you are, in the area and you see the Peter Millar shop, go in there. Go look for the handsome kind of silver foxed fella.
Yes.
who is just he's a delight to talk to. He will make you laugh. He's an awesome guy. So shout out to Todd Martin and Peter Millar because their setup looks great. But yeah, Max, defending champ. Max is a guy around here in Scottsdale. It's clearly a pretty tight knit golf community. There's a bunch of guys that live here. It's commonly discussed that people think Max is going to be a top 10 player in the world. He's that good. So to see him playing so well for the last several months, obviously winning at Riviera, having a couple close calls, and now he's defending. So good luck to Max this week. I got to talk about the Premier Golf League because we just mentioned the $40 million, which everybody's been bringing up a lot. The PIP, the Player Impact Program, where
My mom, when I was little, my mom used to call my pee-pee a pip. Oh, did you hurt your pip or something? Like if you ever some. I don't know why. Like that was just something.
I did not see that coming.
You know, that's just you know how like moms have just like weird words because they don't want to like say like certain things like to little kids or whatever. So like that instead of like pee-pee was pip. I remember once like I was holding it. She's like, "What happens? Your pips hurt?" I was just like I was like 4 years old, like
holding your pip on for dear life. You're just like, this is my pip.
Just grabbing it like.
You just never know what you're gonna get out of the Borelli household.
You really
Yeah,
don't.
that's probably something that I never thought I'd say. You know, it's probably something Jake will make into a fucking promo and put on Instagram. You know what I mean? It's just one of those moments. You know.
Yeah, he will. He'll find like use your mother, and it'll be a really weird, like
it's a little bit.
unfortunate-
It's a little bit
yeah.
more behind the
Flip.
scenes. Is just like how Jake he crushes like 55 promos before every single podcast. I think he goes to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning to edit our fucking podcast. And just like it's so funny that we'll talk for 2 hours, and I'm the dumbest person in the world. I'm the first person to admit it. I mean, no one thinks that they're more of an asshole than I am, than I do. Like I just am I'm the least. What's the opposite of biggest fan?
Smallest fan,
Biggest critic.
I'm the biggest critic of myself that you could find in this world. So when I go on Instagram and I'm like, all right, like let's see what we actually put up on the main Instagram with like 1 million followers. It's always like the dumbest thing I said of that 2-hour podcast, which is fine. Like it gets clicks and people like to call me a fucking loser and they're gonna burn Borelli's down. But it's just something like that little pip thing will somehow be on Instagram. It's just like, I don't know. I was just saying it to my buddies in this little square Zoom thing. I didn't know it was going to be, on the internet, but it is what it is. It's so fun. It's so crazy.
The Premier Golf League. So there's been interesting things happening in the last several months in professional golf, basically as a result of all the rumors over the last year or two of the Premier Golf League, which is Saudi-backed, tons of money, rumor that it's like got $1 billion behind it. Now the latest, sort of in response to the $40 million player impact program, hilarious thing that we've spoken about many times now, was that they are offering players up to $30 million to sign or join the Premier Golf League. This report clearly carries enough weight that Jay Monahan, commissioner of the PGA Tour, held a player meeting Monday evening or Tuesday evening after practice rounds with everyone that was at Charlotte at the Wells Fargo, and essentially told them any joining of the Premier Golf League will result in suspension and possible expulsion from the PGA Tour. So it doesn't sound like the Premier Golf League is just going to go away. I know that Webb Simpson came out and said, well, guess it's really like not about, the money and I know that Webb Simpson is in a spot because nobody's going to be paying fucking top dollar to bring Webb Simpson.
Let me tell you the number one guy who didn't get an invite to the PGL or the Super League of Golf. It's Webb Simpson. So he's talking freely about how this is the stupidest idea ever.
They're not in like Saudi Arabia being like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him, and they put up a picture of fucking Webb Simpson and people go crazy. I mean, you're not fucking Tiger Woods, Webb.
I think he was the number one guy when we did a couple years ago, like, who's the number one, like, white bread, I think we might have used the word tapioca guy on tour, who's just...
Vanilla pudding.
Vanilla pudding, that's what it was. And Webb Simpson, I think, went number one in the draft. All due respect to Webb Simpson, but he's not going to be up in the player impact program rankings at all.
No, never. And nobody care. Nobody just. If you're an average fan, you don't give a fuck about Webb Simpson. You just don't. You know. He's got his hybrids. He's got like 11 hybrids out there, and he plays his game, and it works. He makes a lot of money, and he's had stretches where he's one of the best players in the world. That's all good and great. Seems like a nice guy. He's got North Carolina. He's got a little home, I believe, in a place over on Country Club in North Carolina where Frankie and I both played there and had tight matches with a 12-year-old who's now 13. So Webb Simpson's great. He's fine. He doesn't move the needle. Nobody gives a fuck about Webb Simpson.
It's actually a nice
on a
place to
larger
be,
scale.
too, though. Like, Webb Simpson's in
Sure.
a good spot. You're, like, super rich. You get to play in golf tournaments all the time. You're, like, at one point one of the best golfers in the world, and no one gives a fuck about you. That is maybe the best. That's maybe the best place to be of all time.
Agreed. I think it's a great spot to be. But it ain't going to earn you PGL money and $30 million offers that Dustin Johnson and others are getting. So Now, we're in a place where these motherfuckers don't seem like they're going to go away from the Premier Golf League. And at some point, money just talks. And if you can if you can drop the Saudi stigma and a lot of the negativity around things that have happened there, current events, politics, global events, and you just care about money, baby, then somebody's probably going to take them up on this at some point. And, and the other thing I would say is if, we hear this a lot from Rory or from other people that, it's not about the money at this point, it's about the championships. Well, if that were true, then these guys wouldn't be in fucking commercials. You wouldn't see them on TV. You know what they're doing commercials for? Money. You know why they're doing like endorsement deals? Money. Like money fucking matters. So, yes, is it the end all be all when guys are playing in tournaments and guys make, 10, 20, $30 million a year if you're one of the top dogs? Are you thinking about the dollars and cents over every putt? Probably not. Is winning a tournament more important than winning, 1.7 million over 1.1 million? Yeah, winning's probably more important. But to say that it's not about the money, that's just not true, because otherwise they wouldn't be in ads, they wouldn't be taking endorsement dollars, they wouldn't be doing all these different deals with different companies, they wouldn't work with all these agencies that grow their brand to try to make them more money, because they wouldn't care about money. They care about money. The PGL has a ton of money, and it'll be very interesting to see how it all shakes down.
The one thing that's working against the PGL, and I hear everything you're saying there, is that they are targeting the richest guys in the sport, which you have to, because they're also the most popular, the most dominant, the Dustin Johnsons, the Justin Thomases, the Brooks Koepkas. But I do think it does boil down to these guys are already extremely wealthy, and there's already a lot of history baked into PGA Tour victories and winning those events, and people know what that means, where it's just hard to pull somebody away by saying, hey, we're going to offer you all this money, to a guy like Dustin Johnson, when he can just be like, I'm so good that I'm already making a ton of money. Like, it makes no sense to jump from the PGA Tour to the PGL when you already are making a ton of money. I understand why the PGL is targeting these guys, because they are the biggest names in the sport, but that also works against their case that they're actually going to get these guys, because money, while obviously a factor in everyone's life, and they are doing these commercials to make money, they already have a ton of it because they're the stars of this current tour that they're already a part of.
Didn't DJ this year not go to a tournament? Didn't he not go to, was it Pebble, because he had played over in the Middle East and got a shit ton of money? He got a shit ton of money. Right, and our point and our take on that was Dustin Johnson can just go play this one tournament, make double the amount of money than he would have at Pebble the next week, and he gets a week off after that and just makes the money that he always wanted to make that week, and it's over. He just didn't care about the tournament over in the States. He just wanted to make the money. So I do think at the end of the day, fuck, man, that's going to be a lot of money to turn down for these guys, especially, who knows where that number's going to go up to, right? It's reports of $30 million offer. You're hearing billion-dollar backers in this thing. It's they're going to come up with tournaments with $100 million purses. The numbers coming out of this PGL is insane. So, who knows what's going to happen? I would like to think that the history and the stats and the idea of the PGA Tour and wanting to be a part of that history would have a little bit more value than maybe we're putting on. But maybe that only works for a guy like Tiger Woods, who's actually has a chance of breaking these stats. Does a guy like Dustin Johnson care about where he falls on the all-time majors list, or does he care about making $1 billion one day?
Well, the thing is, the majors don't have anything to do with the PGA Tour. So in theory,
right,
you'd still if in terms of their stats and their history, I think it's so unique compared to other sports, right? If there were an NHL similar situation where people were trying to drag them into a Super League, you would be very against it, or one of your big negatives, one of your big cons would be that you want to win a Stanley Cup. Well, the Stanley Cup is directly tied to the National Hockey League, obviously. In this case, you could still play major championships, and I think that a lot of the history that they chase is major championships. I don't know that the history that they really chase is winning the BMW Classic. I don't think that carries the same amount of weight. So if you could move to a PGL and they were able to get some sick courses that people were hoping that there'd be tournaments at in the States and in other places around the world and make $30 million guaranteed, and then also still play in the Masters, which is run by Augusta National, not the PGA Tour, and you're able to play in the PGA run by the PGA of America, and you're able to play in the United States Open and the British Open that are not run by the PGA Tour, like, it's not crazy. Now, clearly nobody said yes yet. More than likely nobody will say yes, and you'll never get that because you can't have like a Premier Golf League without at least a substantial amount of guys doing it. You can't just have one. If like fucking just Justin Rose says yes, you don't have a league. So I think it's still, less likely than not that it'll happen. But I don't think it's crazy because if you can still do the major. Now, if the USGA and Augusta came out and said the same shit, like, I think everybody's instantly out.
Does the PGL have any sort of broadcasting rights? Because I know they said they want to put on 5 events, but are those going to be on TV? Because that visibility for players is very important. Like, when there's a PGA Tour event and it's on Golf Channel and it's on CBS, being on TV and being able to be seen, I think, is a big part of what goes into, like you were saying, with doing commercials and all these deals, where if you're part of the PGL, like I just couldn't find, I did a little bit of searching, but I couldn't find any concrete broadcasting deals that these have. So if you're just playing in these tournaments, yeah, you get this huge chunk up front just for showing up. But then if it's not on TV anywhere, you're kind of screaming into the void.
The PGL is not a thing right now, right? Like, there's no league set up, right? They're just waiting for like acceptance, like, of players. Like, they wouldn't have like a broadcasting thing yet, right? Like, this is just an idea as of right now.
If I am one of these big time players and the PGL comes to me, if I'm Dustin Johnson, I immediately ask them what their broadcasting rights are. Because if I'm not going to be able to be seen on TV playing golf, being this amazing number 1 player in the world, then it's certainly not worth it.
It's got to be on TV. I mean, it's got to be on TV. So it has to be.
But it's not easy to get broadcasting rights at all.
Right.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It just has to be on TV, though. They can't play for $30 million just at like some local country club. I don't even know what that would mean.
Maybe they bring in Foreplay to stream it.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Listen, if they
want to be on TV,
if they want to put $20 million into our bank accounts for streaming it on like our YouTube channel and maybe to BarstoolSports.com, that's a conversation we can have. But every article that I read on the PGL or the Super League, I didn't see anything about it being on TV.
Imagine the headlines now, like fucking Barstool Sports partners with Saudi Arabia to like go into a new golf league. It's like, yeah,
also would these events be in Saudi Arabia, or would they just be like?
No, I think they want to do them. They want to do them at like sweet, iconic venues or unique venues. I imagine they have at least one there, have a championships there. Who knows what they would do? But I think they want to do it like a little bit internationally, a decent amount in the U.S. because clearly they're going for all the U.S. players. So like, if they all live in the U.S., you can't just tell them all to fucking go play elsewhere. So
right.
I think they want to do a lot of them in the U.S.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch either way. That's my stance, right? Like, if they fucking form this PGL, I'm watching the shit out of the PGL. It just is what it is. Like, that's something that legitimately would be enticing to watch, these guys playing for a shit ton of money. That's something that we talk about with the PGA championship. Like, they always try and find their lane and their thing that their championship has. It's a shit ton of money. Like, that's their thing right now, is that the guy wins a lot. It's a big purse and all that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just like the drama. I really do. Like, when one domino falls, we're gonna go crazy. If like Rory McIlroy says he's on the PGL, the world will light on fire.
As a golf fan, having a legitimate competitor emerge for the PGA Tour is only going to be a good thing for us and for the players. Like, it's tangible. You see it with the Player Impact Program. That is a direct result of the PGL. The PGA Tour saw that and they were like, we have to respond. And it just ends up making, one of the tours better, both of them better. Like, remember when the XFL popped up, the original iteration of the XFL? Like, that forced the NFL to take things away from that the XFL was doing and basically implement it into the NFL. Like, I'm pretty sure the XFL was the first league to have cameras flying over the entire field, and the NFL was like, that's a great idea, we're just going to take that. And I'm guessing that's the same sort of trajectory that this PGA Tour versus the PGL is going to have is where the PGL is going to have these outlandish, crazy ideas that the PGA Tour would have never thought of, and the PGA Tour is going to take those, implement them into their tour, and they're just going to be better off for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different. Right, exactly. You could look at that in any example in business. Like look at Apple and Microsoft and like the phone business, like Android. None of that stuff would exist if it weren't for the iPhone coming up first, and then they make it better and better and better and better. You keep innovating because you've got competition. So 100% agree. Like on the net whole, it's got to be better for golf that these guys, the PGL, even exist, came up. I love that it's like mysterious, right? I love that like originally when it was announced a year ago or so, that like nobody knew who was behind it. It was just kind of this cloaked figure that was spoken about abstractly that had like maybe $1 billion and was trying to start its own golf league where just basically Tiger and Phil and DJ and Rory would play against each other all the time. So it's interesting. Now, obviously all the negative connotations around Saudi, like make it tougher to be pro PGL, obviously. But I think that it will be a net positive for golf as a whole, much like pinned golf is when it comes to rangefinders. You remember our buddies at Pinned Golf. These are the rangefinders that we use. They've been a sponsor of Foreplay for 3 years now. Every year their product gets better and better. They just took rangefinders to a whole new level with the Ace. It's usually a $299 rangefinder, but they're running an insane deal where you save $100 and can get it for just $199. You know how expensive rangefinders can be. We've all been there before. You're paying $300, $400, $500 sometimes for these things. Well, the Ace from Pin Golf is phenomenal, and you get it for $199. It's exactly what you need to help improve your game. It's got the clearest scope we've ever seen. It's got a USB charges. You don't have to worry about carrying batteries and all that good stuff. They added a tournament official slope switch so you can easily calculate accurate distances up or down hills whenever you need to. On top of all that, they somehow found a way to make this thing even more accurate. They added a third lens, so head on over to pengolf.com, PINNEDGOLF.com. Get yours today before this sale ends. Isn't the Pin rangefinder what we like, gentlemen?
It has all that technology that you mentioned, and it is fantastic, but it also feels great in your hand. Like that's a big part of a rangefinder for me. It's just got a good weight to it. The shape of it is a little different than your regular rangefinder, and the way it feels in my hand makes it my favorite rangefinder by far. I love the Ace.
There's different levels to these things, and this is just an affordable, gets the job done rangefinder. It's as simple as that. I've gotten a lot of messages about it. This one guy, I think, messaged me about like getting rangefinders for his team. Like he's a high school golf coach. He's like, I need something like the school doesn't provide it. I need something that's a little more affordable. Pin rangefinder is perfect for that. It's just going to get the job done. It's really good. It comes in an incredible little case now. They've really upped like the look of it, the feel of it. It feels high class. It looks high class. It works high class, and it's just not that type of money. It's just in a lower class bracket when it comes to the dollar. So I mean, if you're in the need for a rangefinder, just get a pinned rangefinder. There's no need for the other stuff.
Yeah, the clear scope is awesome. Like Trent said, this is definitely their best feeling one. It just feels sturdy. It feels quality. It feels like it's going to last you forever. So go to pingolf.com, get yourself the Ace from Pinned because it's the rangefinder that we use, and it's awesome. All right, gents. Next up, I think we have The Miz, unless anybody else has anything else. The long-awaited, the much-anticipated The Miz on Foreplay.
This is stunning.
All right, folks, we're joined by a very special guest. You've seen him all over the place. He's a superstar. He's WWE. He's got his own show now. He's Real World originally. The Miz. Mike, welcome to the show for the first time. I understand you're a little bit of a golfer as well, right?
Little bit of a golfer. I feel like I literally am on a golf course. That's what I do every single day. Am I good? Doesn't mean I'm absolutely fantastic at golf. It means I love going golfing. I love being out in the mornings, smelling the freshly cut grass, just being out there and hitting an amazing shot. There's like nothing more incredible, but hitting it's like you can have an entire round of bad shots, and the only thing that matters is that one shot that you hit that was like either like a chip that made it in or like a long putt or a huge like 300-yard drive. Like that's all that matters. It really doesn't matter about all the crap. Like people that keep score, I don't even keep score anymore because it does not matter. I lose 10 balls a round.
Yeah, but then when you think about it afterwards, you're like, I got something here because that one stick shot that I hit, boys and girls, like I'm on to something, and this is a new golfer you're looking at here.
So it's funny. So I went to the Kingdom, right, which is TaylorMade's like fitting. It's where like Tiger goes, where Rory goes to get like fitted for all their stuff,
And the Foreplay podcast.
Yeah, that's where we go. We're TaylorMade guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I went there, right? And I have this video, and it's from like probably about 6 months ago. And they gave me like what Tiger's dimensions were on a rescue club. So I was like, what's Tiger hit with this? And I hit it like 230. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And they're like, I go, what's Tiger hit? He goes, about 250. I go, give me a second. So I literally just start. I hit one. So I did one, and I basically totally whiffed it. Didn't even maybe like 100 yards because I was just trying too hard. So I was like, all right, let me get this squared away. Let me locked in, hit the ball 260 yards right down the fairway. I was so excited. Like that's all that mattered. Like, it's like, that's my mindset. Like that I can hit it further than Tiger with a rescue club. But honestly, if Tiger was really trying, he could probably beat me.
Yeah, you'll have that forever.
You a lefty? I saw you kind of do the lefty swing there. You're a left-handed golfer? Nice.
Okay, Frankie's our resident lefty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a slice?
I don't know what I have. It's just whatever shows up with me that day. But yeah, I would say that my miss off the tee is probably a slice. But when I'm hitting it well, there's nothing better than that lefty draw down the fairway. People, it gets oohs and ahs from the crowd. So
I've been with I don't know if you want to call her my coach, but a person at the country club that I'm involved in has they have like people that teach you stuff. So I went to her to get rid of my slice. I cannot stand that I cannot hit the ball straight. It's upsetting to me. It's aggravating. And she basically so usually you put like the foam pads, like whatever it is, like in front of the person. She put it on the back of me, and I lean up against it. And if I lean up against it and hit, I will hit it straight. And she's trying to get me to draw. So she's like making me overcompensate on my, I literally have a very strong grip. And so with my grip, I'm like trying to I don't even know, she just has me so far over that I don't slice, but I can't draw it. And what she wants is that nice, perfect, in and out kind of deal, but it just doesn't work that way for me for some reason. But I've been working on it and working on it. It's just not happening though.
Has she ever done somebody will put a head cover or a piece of foam on the outside of the ball so that you can't come from the outside on the ball? Yeah, that's kind of what I do that sometimes.
So that's what and honestly, it helps out a lot, but you can't do that on the first tee with your friends there because it's like, guys, wait a second. I just got to set this up real quick. And then also I'm always aiming wrong and I don't know why. So I have a hard time aiming, and I never realized I did. I look at where I want to shoot it, and then I go up, and she'll be like, "Yeah, you're gonna hit it right," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." You're compensating for your slice. Don't compensate for the slice. Try to hit the ball straight. I'm like, I do try to hit the ball straight. I really do. It's the number one thing that I go up and say, I want to hit the ball straight, but it just doesn't do that. I know I'm going to slice it. I know what's going to happen. So I'm going to compensate for it. So stop compensating for it. Aim for where you want to aim, vision it, and literally go. I saw something that Michael Jordan was like, if you can vision it, then it's going to happen. When he's on the golf course. And that doesn't happen for me. Not at all.
No, I still compensate. I have a nasty slice. I'm a righty. I aim as far left as I possibly can to compensate because I'm never going to hit it straight.
Yeah. Is golf more frustrating for you because you've WWE superstar and how to do that? That was you knew the outcome of what you were going to do. That was your profession. That's something that you're really good at. And now you go on to golf and every swing can be different, right? I'm trying to see if there's any parallels or complete opposites between your life prior to being, the country club, now playing every single day. It's got to be a little bit of annoying for you, right? Not figure out why it's not going down the middle every single time.
So when I did start keeping score, I kept score. So I would golf every day and it'd be the same thing every day. I could feel my game getting better, but the score still remains the same. My
Right.
problem is I lose too many balls. For instance, I'll give you an example. On hole number 1 of our lakes of 9, I know exactly where I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it right down the middle because I do it every time. Then the second hole, I'm going to slice it the first one. The second one, I'm going to overcompensate and hit it into the woods in the next one. And then the third one, I'm going to hit it down the path. Now, my friends have all said that I'm no longer allowed to take mulligans. So that's an automatic 8 for me. So I go to the next hole. The next hole is a par 3. The par 3, I always land like on the right. And even if I overcompensate, no matter what, I hit it in the same. Like if you do the same 9, you always end up in the same spots. It's crazy. And so I know exactly where I'm going to get. And the problem is I can hit the ball straight on the second one. I'm always really good. Like I'm always like, they say I have like, I don't know, 150 yards and I hit the first one and it misses the green. The second one, I know I'm going to hit the green. I know, and I might even hit it in the hole, but it's always on that second one, and I'm not allowed to have the second one because my friends are like, you're no longer allowed to have that. If you're in a country club, you got to basically make sure that you keep the right score because you want your game to be really good, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care. That's why I don't keep score anymore because it stopped being fun.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something. Not keeping score. I might start doing that. That's a good idea.
Trent, too many people are obsessed with your number, Trent. You gotta keep your score, man.
It's just too high, but whatever.
Like kind of to Frankie's point, right? Like you've done a lot of different things and been successful at them. Whether it's TV, it's professional wrestling, it's like reality TV, and to be able to spend so much time doing something that's fucking impossible to get good at. It's like, because it's infuriating for us as someone that's had a lot of success doing different things. Like, is it even more infuriating for you? Do
you know what I did? Like, so last year I joined the country club, right? And I said, I live on a golf course. I think I'm going like this is how stupid I am. I honestly truly believed that I was going to be so good in 1 year that they might invite me on the tour. They might just say, hey, I thought I was going to be Tony Romo good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Tony Romo goes on there and he's like, he'll go in and like try out and all that stuff. Like, I'm nowhere near that where I thought I was going to be a year ago. Like, I thought, like, that is my mindset. And I am not even freaking close. And I have honed in. I've locked in. Like, my back hurts. Just this side of my right side of my lower back is always in pain because I'm trying to hit the ball so hard. And they're like, well, don't hit the ball so hard. Well, I want to hit it 300 yards. And that's the fun part about golf. Hitting a huge bomb out there is the number one thing that you want to do in golf. I don't want to hit a little like 150-yard drive. No, I'm sorry. I'm a man. I want 300 yards. Let's go.
Yeah, I like the attitude. I mean, we all kind of have a little bit of that in us at golf, on the golf course, right? We just want to grip it and rip it. The problem is that's when it drive.
I feel like you're that guy that just lays up, never uses a driver. You use like a, oh, I'm going to use my 5-iron on this one because
fucking Miz, man.
No, Frankie can pipe it.
Fuck you, Miz. Fuck you, Miz. I don't fucking lay up for shit.
Bombs.
I don't
tell Riggs hits bombs.
I'm hitting fucking bombs.
5-iron here. Oh,
Fuck
you know, hit your bomb, lose your ball, but I'm gonna get a better score.
I suck. No, I fucking grip and rip it. You got to stay with the lefties, man. You can't be laying up shit as a lefty. You got to have that nice, beautiful swing. I grip it and rip it every chance I get. No, I'm not laying up shit. My problem is, though, is that, like, I do it too often, and now I'm trying to do, and that's something you should do if you want to get better. We have to be smarter on the golf course. No, like at some points, that second hole, just hit it in the fairway. How much more fun would you have if you were on that golf course, on that fairway, on that second hole without hitting it into the fucking houses?
Here's the problem. Even if I used a 5-iron, it's still going, it's still slicing. No matter what, on that, if I do a drive, it does not matter if I use a driver, a 3-wood, a 5-iron, it's going right on that second hole. It's going right no matter what.
But it will be less. It will be less severe if you use a 5-iron as opposed to just roping a driver over there. But I understand what you're saying because I have the same problem.
I feel like the people like hate me near this golf course because they know when I'm coming. Like you can hear it on their roof. Like you could hear my ball hit their roof and bounce off. And sometimes I get a lucky bounce where it'll hit their house and bounce right back on the fairway. And I'm like, this is amazing.
It proves to you how mental this game is, that certain holes just own us. Like, it's the same thing. You're just trying to hit it. It's linear. You're just hitting it on a line. You're just trying to hit it straight. So why can you do it on one hole and then the next hole you step up and you're like, nope, I know I can't hit this fairway. I've never done it before. It's no different than anything else. You have a flat tee box, you have a driver, you have a tee, you have your golf ball, you have your glove, you have everything's the same, except you just can't fucking do it because the game is so mental. It's
now I'm looking at Frankie behind him. It says U.S. Open. I did a U.S. Open Pro-Am, right? So let's think about all of that. Now add people there looking at you, watching you, right?
How'd you play?
So I remember getting up to the third hole, and it was like I think it was like the third hole or fourth hole, something like that. But it was like a long hole, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay one out. Like, I'm gonna show these people, like, give them something to yell about, right? So I literally crank it back and just swing for the fences, and I almost missed the ball. The ball didn't go past the ladies' tees. Like, it was very embarrassing, and everyone in front of me, like, you could hear like the wind just go with my club, and you're in front of all these people, and there's nothing more embarrassing than hitting the ball 10 feet in front of you or almost missing the ball than that, like in front of people and on television. Like that's not something that you want. And then how about this? On like the seventh hole, I think it's the par 3 that's right by, I'm sorry, it was at the US Open was at Pebble Beach that year. So it's like 7 is like an infamous, like, beautiful par 3 right by the ocean. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get it on the green, right? Put it right in the ocean, the first ball. I said, mulligan, give me another ball. They didn't want to do it. I said, I don't care, tough. Put the ball back on, went to the right, sliced it way on the other, like almost hit somebody. It was just an absolute crap show. Like, no one wanted. But then I did the Genesis Open, and I was on point. Like, I was just killing the ball. I was doing great. I was feeling good. I felt the audience. Like, you never know what you're going to get on these sort of situations.
As long as there's no casualties, I think you take that as a plus, right? With that many people, that many eyeballs on you, with just a guy who doesn't really know where the ball's going, like us. I mean, that if I played 18 holes in a Pro-Am, if I'm walking out of there and an ambulance hasn't been called, I'm saying that's a victory.
It's a win. It's a win for all of us.
Win.
What is in your guys' opinion one of our favorite companies we've ever worked with that is a company in terms of certain products that you will use exclusively forever?
Oars Alps. It's as simple as that. That answer, that was the easiest question that you've ever asked on this podcast.
Well, they have spent several years now. I believe the answer is 4 years coming up with their SPF formula. Now, we've talked a lot about their deodorant for years. We hawk their deodorant because we're getting away from big deodorant, aluminum, all that bad stuff going into your skin and just being bad for you and ruining you, which you don't want, and how natural and fresh and well-made Oars and Alps is. Well, they took all those talents that they have, put it into SPF products, which are all down in my golf bag right now, which is in my car. But as a guy who obviously has been anti-sun, I've been alarming people about the dangers of the sun for a long time. Their SPF products at Oars and Alps, from their just kind of classic sunscreen, I believe it's 50 SPF, to that like moisturizer type sunscreen that you put on your face. It's just really good for you. It's good for your skin. It protects your skin. It doesn't dominate or destroy your skin like some of the other stuff that you can find out there, and it's the best.
Dude, when we played Torrey Pines, the sun was out. It was beating down on us. Any other time before I got the Oars and Alps SPF spray tanning stuff, I would have come home burnt. I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I would have had a 6-hour plane ride home, extremely burnt. But I kept that stuff. As soon as I got it, I put it in my golf bag, and I had it on me, and I sprayed it all over my body. And instead of getting burnt, I got I look kind of tan right now. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. But look at my hands are tan. My face is a little tan, and instead of being burnt to a crisp, Oars and Alps helped me get like a little bit of color. I love that stuff, honestly.
I think if you're on the fence about it, because you've heard us talk about it for years now, you just have to pull the trigger. I mean, I've gotten so many messages about people that say, "Is it worth it? You know, you guys really pumped this thing. Is it just an advertisement?" Like, if it was just an advertisement, man, we would not go into the depths that we do. Like, I legitimately am looking at my my dresser next to my bed, and I just have 1,000 things of Oars and Alps next to it, right? Like, all of the deodorants that I use, I just have them stockpiled because I don't ever want to run out of it, because you can't. Like, once you run out, you're stuck with big deodorant, and that is a bad place to be. And then they have this sunscreen stuff like that Trent's talking about, and Riggs, and it's not just like, it's not like a regular sunscreen. You go to like CVS, you go to these places, and it's just like these big glumps of just glue that you're throwing on your body. And then you look at Oars and Alps, and it's this clean mist that also has like antioxidant and has cooling sprays and after sun sprays, and they have the stick that you can put on your face. And the biggest part is that it's natural, it's oil free. And then you look at the bottom of these cans, guys, and it's like free of aerosol, parabens, phthalates, PHTH.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get yourself into this game, which is always dangerous.
Phthalates? How the fuck are you supposed to say PHTH? Phthalates?
There's not enough vowels in there for that to be a word.
Remember when we couldn't figure out what the logo was?
Yeah, well, I said it was a bunch of Q-tips, but I think it's just oars.
Now it's just oars that are
Oars
in the
that look
shape
like
of a
the Alps.
mountain.
Yeah.
Like the Alps, right.
But when you look at a can and you look at one of these sunscreens and you see free of, and the list goes on and on and on, just remember that when you buy another sunscreen, the odds are they're not going to be free of these things, right? Like, the advertising for Oars and Alps is that you're buying something that doesn't have the stuff that these big sunscreen companies put into it, right? They just want to mass produce these things. They just want to get them out. They want to keep them whatever. They just want to make them as cheap as possible, these other brands. Not Oars and Alps, man. They're free of the sulfates, the aerosol, the parabens. That's what they're doing. It's good for you.
Right now, Foreplay listeners can receive a free pack of cooling and cleansing wipes. Also great to keep you fresh on the course when you buy any 2 SPF products. All you got to do is visit oarsandalps.com/4 and follow the instructions. Please make sure you visit oarsandalps.com/4. That's FORE. Any 2 SPF products, and you will get a free pack of cooling and cleansing wipes. oarsandalps.com/4.
You guys are TaylorMade guys. Have you got the Sim 2s yet?
Oh, yeah.
The Sim 2.
Okay.
They're cheat
Let's
codes.
talk about this, because I have the Sim 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing with the Sim 1, and then I got the Sim 2, and I swear to you, I even told, like, who was I telling this to? Wells, Adams, Bachelor. Anyway, name drop. So I was like, dude, like, I am hitting the ball at least 10 to 15 yards further. Is this true for you guys as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Significant difference off
What
the
is
tee.
it though? I don't understand why that is. Like, they look almost exactly the same.
Dude, it sounds so good the way it comes off
right?
it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
God, the sound is absolutely like, it sounds like ping, like, oh.
They actually said that, what was it, 12 sound engineers they brought in, or 11 sound engineers they brought in to make sure that it was the perfectly crafted sound when you hit it on the sweet spot. I mean, they broke it down for us. The aerodynamics, it's a little bit different. The weight distribution is a little bit different, and it really is. Like, I have people messaging me like crazy, like, how do I get a Sim 2? It's like, I need to get in there. Can I put it on my new shaft? All this stuff. Like, it is the must-have golf club of 2021. The
reason why I brought his name up is because we were having a conversation, and he had the Sim 1 and I had the Sim 2. I'm left-handed. He's right-handed. And I was like, dude, you have to get the Sim 2. You don't understand. He goes, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I got the Sim 1. It's almost the same thing. I go, no, listen to this. And then you can hear it. And then, so at our driving range, like, we have a fence that's about 300 yards, and I can never hit it to the fence. Now I'm hitting in the mid, like, I'm hitting the fence.
Wow.
And yes. I'm like, I'm hitting, like, so if I hit it really well and the sweet spot perfectly, I can get 300. I can definitely get 300. It's going to be on a bounce, but I can get 300. But that's
Sim 2, baby.
Like,
that thing's a weapon. It's a fucking weapon.
It's awesome. It is awesome.
So you've obviously been doing reality TV a long time. You've got the show on USA, Ms. and Miss. You got your little, you got the logo behind you on the screen there. What's it like? Do you, as somebody on, with cameras around all the time, you just kind of mentioned that, like, when you're trying to play golf and there's people watching, and how difficult that could be, because part of you just numb now to having cameras around and having your whole life filmed?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was on The Real World, I was on The Real World in 2001.
So 20 years it's
what,
been.
20 years
Yep.
since I've been on TV. When people said I was going to have 15 minutes of fame, I turned it into 20 years. So yeah, I mean, it's actually natural and normal. Like I've always enjoyed doing reality television, especially now when I have control of it. With Ms. and Mrs., this is mine and my wife's show. This is our baby. This is what we look at and we go, what's going on in our lives? How can we showcase our real day-to-day lives behind the scenes and still make it entertaining, fun, and relatable for everyone to watch? And I think we really do that. Like I don't look at our show, even though it is a reality show, I don't look at it as a reality show. I look at it in the realms of The Office, Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, those type of shows. And I know that's like, well, dude, you're basically putting yourself in the greatest comedies in the history of comedy. Yeah. And if you have your own show, you should be aiming for that type of comedy. And I think we do have those laugh out loud moments. And this is a family comedy for the entire family to watch and enjoy. And last episode, I took my wife golfing. And I don't know about you guys, but my wife's never golfed before. And when you take someone that's never golfed before and doesn't know all the rules and regulations that you have, it's kind of an interesting situation you put in. Like my wife got up to the tee box and just starts yelling "Fore." And I'm like, why are you doing this? Because I saw it in the movie once. I go, can you stop joking? Just hit the ball. And then she goes hit the ball and misses the ball completely. So I'm standing in front. We're standing with two guys that like are part of the country club. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, she's just having fun. This is enjoyable. Like she'll throw the ball. Like, I'm like, that's a 2-stroke penalty, babe. She goes, I don't care how many strokes. You can take 50 strokes. I don't care. I'm throwing it.
No, yeah, I like the way you guys are incorporating like real life things. Like, you guys have a pregnancy scare. Your mom's deciding to date. You got country club stuff coming. It is stuff that families deal with, and it is cool to see that you guys are so open and
My mom
honest.
hasn't been on a date in like 15 years, I would say. So she's kind of out of the game. So to put her and Marjo back in the game, especially in a game that I'm not aware of anymore, because I've been out of the game for like 7 years, right? So I don't know this whole sliding into people's DMs. I don't know about swiping left, swiping right. I've never dealt with any type of online dating or anything like that. So I'm kind of out of the loop. Maurice is out of the loop, and Marjo and my mom are just going at it full on head of steam. And I don't want to hear about it, to be honest with you.
I get that. I mean, that's just real life.
You built a man cave. What's in the man cave?
Man cave. Well, I don't have a nice water cooler like you have, but I have a refrigerator filled with beer. I get
Fucking
pizza
miss.
all the time in there. Video games. I have a drum set. It's decorated to a T. Nice car posters. Like it's almost like I'm a teenager, but I'm a grown-ass man in a man cave. So that's what it's in there. Little expensive bottles of whiskey. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
It is cool, man, because reality TV is all over the place now, right? It has been for 20, 25 years. Bachelor, we do a bunch of stuff. Trent's a huge Bachelor guy. And a lot of these personalities, they come out, they're on a show for however many episodes. They grow a little bit of a social following, but then it's the grind of they all want to stay in it. They all want to stay relevant, grow their kind of careers in entertainment. And you've actually done it. So what did you do differently that you were able to go from, like you said, what everybody claimed would be 15 minutes of fame to here we are 20 years later, WWE superstar, you've got your own show with the wife. How were you able to be different than a lot of these characters that tried to make it?
I don't know if I'm different. It's just the way that I work. And the way I work is when I was on a reality show and I created the character called The Miz back in 2001 on The Real World. I went back to Cleveland, Ohio, and I asked myself, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to go back to Miami, Ohio, and still be in college for business, which I didn't really like? And I said, no, I want to be a WWE superstar. Okay, what does it take to be a WWE superstar? All right, I think I'm going to move to Los Angeles. I'm going to find a wrestling school that teaches me art of professional wrestling. What else is involved? Acting. You got to be a good actor. And I know people are like, what do you mean? You have to be a good actor. improv skills. You got to have improv skills. So I had an acting coach. I had an improv. I went to Improv Olympics and Groundlings. And then I had a nutritionist that I got for $100 a month because I was poor and the guy was helping me out. And then my trainer was like just helping me and doing me a favor, was kind of one of my friends. So I had all these elements. Now WWE wasn't calling. WWE wasn't there, but I was trying to figure out, how do I gain all the tools for whenever the opportunity presents itself, I will be ready. So I'm always looking like 2 notches above. You know what I mean? Like I'm always thinking 2 steps ahead, and I'm preparing for things that might not ever come. Never. They might not. But I'm preparing for them because I know that if it does present itself, I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Hell yeah. People don't realize it takes, it's like what it fucking takes, right?
Yeah,
to break through, to make it, you gotta be ready.
WWE 24 on Peacock. It's a documentary about my entire career. It's called WWE 24 The Miz. If you watch that, you can see like kind of how I've been able to literally go from, the reality show to WWE, to executive producing my own reality show, to doing movies, to doing hosting. Like when I was on WWE, nobody wanted me there. Everybody wanted me to go away. They hated me. They couldn't stand me. I was an outsider coming from a reality background. I don't deserve to be there, with all these, 6'5", 300 pounds of pure solid muscle guys. I'm 6'1", I'm 205 right now, pure solid muscle, but still it's not big for WWE standards. And so, I had to really, pave my own way. And so I would go to the talent relations and go, hey, if there's anything that nobody wants to do, I'll do it. And at the time, it was like 6 a.m. media calls. So we would be in like some city on Sunday, we'd do a show, get done with that show at about 11 p.m., drive about 3 hours to the next city. And and I would have to be up at 6 a.m. Now, mind you, I went to bed at 3 because that's when I would get into the town. And at 6 a.m., I would be up to do media until 2 p.m. And the way I looked at it was, not only am I showcasing to the media world that who I am and telling people that might not know who I am to actually know who I am, but also I'm gaining traction in promos. Like I get to cut promos. Like, this is a promo right here. Like I cut promos each and every day, on these sort of situations. So it's helping me practice. So I'm always thinking, okay, how can I get better? How can I be the biggest star I could possibly be?
Blood, sweat, and tears, man. That's what it takes.
It's wildly impressive, man. That's crazy to have that much drive after being that successful, right? Like, is there no
golf game would be better?
Right. Seriously. Why are you not applying this to the links? Well, I guess you are. You said you see the teacher.
I am applying it. I am applying
too fucking hard, man.
I am applying it. I am applied. I am grinding. I'm grinding on the range every day. Like my back hurts nonstop. And I just cannot figure it out. I cannot hit the damn ball straight.
It's the Mrs. Kryptonite is the golf course.
All of us. True. All of us, man. Well, look, we really appreciate it. You've done an amazing job, and just like you said, over 20 years growing from what a lot of people would say, and most people do have that kind of are in your position. 15 minutes of fame, a quick bit on a show. You're famous for a little while, and then people fade, and here you are 20 years later being really successful in everything but golf. So you've done a phenomenal job. We appreciate the time, the show, Ms. and Mrs., which you get to, it's kind of your, I can tell it's your baby. Like you said, you guys put all your thought, your time, your energy into it and doing it your way, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Yeah, check out Ms. and Mrs. on the USA Network, 11 p.m., immediately following Monday Night Raw. So you get to watch me on Raw, and then you get to watch me on Ms. and Mrs., and WWE 24 is on Peacock. It's streaming right now. So definitely don't miss any of those. I got a lot of things going on. What can I say?
Busy guy. That's how you should be, man. That's a good sign.
Yep. Exactly. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
We appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thanks,
and your
man.
lighting. You looked great. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you. I do my best.
I don't lay up off the tee. I just want that confirmed.
And go drink out of your water cooler.
Okay.
Conversations by there.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you like sit there and be like, guys, let's all go stand by the water cooler and everyone have a conversation about their golf game?
Well,
Yeah, he does.
listen,
Is that why you put the
listen,
water cooler there?
listen,
Like,
listen,
you think it was
listen,
cool?
listen, fucking Miz. All right, listen, bro. The reality is that this fucking camera is like a wide angle now, and I don't know how to fix it to like just get me in it. And I have water there because my face is exploding from all the sodium I eat. So I'm trying to drink more water. This isn't supposed to be in frame, and I actually just noticed it as we were talking. So I don't fucking
It's
do
in
a little
frame.
water
It's the
cooler
only
joke.
thing
Yeah, I
I
know
It's in frame.
It's super in frame.
All I'm doing is veering and looking at your water cooler. You're literally
Fuck!
going, "It drinks a lot of water." Actually, you don't drink a lot of water because that thing's full.
I just replaced it, the Miz.
Oh,
At least yours is a little better. At least you don't have a fan. You know, I don't. At least you don't have a freaking fan in your background. I mean,
You don't
honestly,
like a fan?
come on.
What's wrong with a fan?
You have a fan in your background.
Dude, we're
it's
not
authentic.
polished, man. We're Barstool Sports. We fucking do shit in our mom's
Barstool
basement.
Sports is a huge entity.
I'm turning my camera off. I don't want him to see what's
Trent,
going
do
on.
Trent next. Do Trent next. Show him your fucking room, Trent.
Laugh a little bit, to have some fun on the internet. That's where people go. And then they sit there and go to this podcast. One guy's got a freaking water cooler. The other guy is a ceiling fan. The other guy, I don't even know what those pictures are.
Oh my god.
That's Haley Williams from Paramore and Led Zeppelin.
All right. Well, you know what's amazing though is that you guys do have good microphones. At least you have good microphones because that's all that really matters, right?
We just got these too. We used to just sound like real assholes the whole
I
time.
knew it. I knew you just got because they look brand new, by the way.
Brand new. Look at these things. They're just shining.
All right, Miz.
Thank you, man.
We
Thanks,
That was
appreciate
a lot of
it.
fun.
Good luck with everything. Good luck with the show. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks, dude.